All right, so in the last video, what we did is we set up our player over here. And what we want to do now is we want to get it so that our player gets spawned in our game. So you can see here we have this thing called the player start. And this essentially controls where our player's start position is. So if we want our player to not spawn here, but spawn over here, because right now when we press play, yes, we do start with this player here, but our first person shooter still gets spawned in the game. So let's take a look at how we can actually create a player start. So like if we delete, we find player start. So if you type player start here, and we just want to select that and then delete that from the scene. We can also take our boy here and delete him from our scene. So right now we have no characters in our scene because we want to spawn it in. And if we click these three, you see we have the selection mode, we have animations, things like that. If we click here, you can see there's basic here, and under these different things we have character, spawn, and then under basic in the center here you can see we have player start. So if I click on it, we can create a generic player start. And just because we have a weapon here that they give you right off the bat, I'm just going to place the character right there. I'm going to hit F to focus. I'm going to move this down, and let's place that here. Now what's pretty cool is if I hold Alt and I move this over here, by default, what we can do is, or what that does by having multiple player starts, is it'll randomly spawn in the player between these two locations. I don't want to do that for now, so I'm just going to delete the second player start. But overall, that's kind of a cool feature in your game if you want the player to start at different locations every time. So let's say you're making like a match game where a bunch of, like Splatoon, where a bunch of characters are running around with paintball guns or whatever, shooting each other, and you want them to spawn randomly. Now, to get our player to work with our player start object here, we have to create another blueprint. So I'm going to right click and select blueprint there. And then you want to select game mode base. And it says here, game mode base defines the game being played, its rules, scoring, and other facets of the game type. And that includes allowing our player to spawn within here. So I'm going to select game mode base here. Now we want to rename it from new blueprint because that can be confusing. So hit F2 on it. So if you select it and press F2, and then just type in BP underscore game mode. And this will be our new game mode. All right, so let's go ahead and open up our game mode. And I'm just going to dock this up top here. And over here is what our main area of interest is. Now, remember we created a blueprint pawn, which is our character. If I click on this, you can see now we have blueprint boy. And if I select that, now that'll use the default pawn class as our boy. So let's go ahead and save that. So let's go ahead and close this. And over here in settings, if you don't see your world settings, you click on world settings and that'll open it up here. And this is where you want to tell it, see where it says game mode override. You can grab your blueprint game mode, drop it in there, or I think just select BP game mode here. If it doesn't let you, I think this was blocking me. I'm going to hit no. And let's save this. Something else, now you can see that our player spawns right where that that player start position is, which is pretty cool. Something to also just point out really quickly is, and you can see that's, if I double click this, it sets it by default to the most used elements. If you want to see the whole blueprint again, just hit open full blueprint here, and then click on viewport, and this will take you back to that screen that we were at before. Now, one last thing I want to do in this video is go to edit and then go to project settings. And I want this little boy to be the, essentially that game mode where it loads this little boy to be in every level and not the first person character, because we used the first person game as a template and now we're kind of switching it to a third person game. And I did that on purpose so that you can see how easy it is to go back and forth. It's just a simple camera change. But go to maps and modes here and you could see default game mode, BP first person. We can do BP game mode. So if I select that, and I go ahead and I think it just auto saves. So if I close this, and let's go back and do project settings just to make sure. And let's go to maps and modes. Yeah, BP game mode. If I create a new level, so a new level here, actually hold on a second, let's hit save all. And then let's make a new level and basic. You can see this one starts with a player start. And if I press play, it should load in my player into this basic new level here. All right, and that's it for this video.